Welcome to another Tech Tip Thursday. So, I'm going to continue with my talk about Excel. And if you need to know some of the basics as how to do formulas in Excel, please refer back to my previous Tech Tip about Google Sheets doing sum, count, and average. But today, I wanted to actually talk about kind of a combination of those two, and that is Averageif. So one of the ways that you can get formulas, I showed you before that you can get them by doing the equal sign, but you can also go up here to insert and you can go to functions. They call them functions. The functions perform a count, and the count that you put in is then the formula. So I want to do a statistical analysis. So I'm going to go under statistics. I just happen to know where this one is. And I want to do the average, but only if it has a certain value. Okay. So I'm going to click that Averageif. And the nice thing is it gives you this little help tip. So for those of you who are new to using Google Sheets or Excel, the help tip can be really useful. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing average width is because I want to know the average of how much time students are spending in class. So I want to know the average of these days in class, but I only want to know the average for Algebra 1, right? So the first thing we do is actually the criteria. So it's asking me, where am I getting this data from? And again, I can drag, I've shown you this before, and get my criteria, right? And come back. And now I'm going to do comma, and it's asking me what the criterion is, right? So it's saying, what am I looking for? So I'm going to tell it I'm looking for algebra 1. And notice because it's text, I put it in quotation marks, right? So now I have this, and I have to put in the last part because it needs an average range, and the average range is going to be F2 through F49. One thing I want you to be sure of is that that count needs to match, right? So if your criterion range is 2 to 49, your average range needs to be 2 to 49, just a different column, right? Because it needs to be able to look and say, in this column, what's the data in relationship to this column, right? So now I can just press enter, and it gives me my average. Now, to make this easier to read, because this is a number of days, I'm going to go up to format, and I'm going to format this as a number, and I'm just going to come down and choose my nice whole number with no decimal. And there's my number. So this is the average time in class for Algebra 1. I'm just going to put out 1. And to repeat this formula, because now I probably want to know the average time in class for semester 1 and semester 2, I can just copy it over, and I also can just drag it over. It actually does the same exact thing, whether you copy or drag. It does move the formula, right? So now it's going to E2, which is not where I want it to be. I want it to be in, what field was that? D, okay? So I'm going to change this to D. So I'm just changing where the data is from, and you could do the click and drag thing again. To me, it's just a little easier to just to come up here and change the data in the formula. And now instead of Algebra 1, I want it to be Algebra 1 Semester 1, right? Press enter, and that takes 58 days. So right there, I've already gotten some of the data, okay? And I'm going to call that an average, okay? So these are my average ifs, and I'm going to go ahead and keep working with this spreadsheet because this is just the first bit of data I'm going to take from this spreadsheet. So next week, I hope you'll join me again. We'll talk about median.